It was the biggest political gathering of any kind ever held in this country. And there was a reason for that. All these world leaders came to Glasgow because their politicians are telling them that they need to act. And we've heard about the peril that we face if we fail. We've heard from the individuals who are already living with the effects. And yesterday evening, we finally came to the kind of game-changing agreement that the world needed to see. Almost 200 countries have put their name to the Glasgow Climate Pact, marking a decisive shift in the world's approach to tackling climate emissions, setting a clear roadmap to limiting the rise in global temperatures to 1.5 degrees, and marking the beginning of the end for coal power. Because for the first time ever, a UN climate change conference has delivered a mandate to cut the use of coal power generation. And it's backed up by real action from individual countries. For example, we've arranged a multi-billion-pound partnership to help South Africa ditch coal and create new green jobs instead. On top of that, we've brokered a deal with the G20 to end international finance for coal by the end of next month. We've persuaded most of Western Europe and North America to mirror the commitment I made last December by pulling the plug on financial support for all overseas fossil fuel projects by this time next year. And when you add all that together, it is beyond question that Glasgow has sounded the death knell for coal power. It's a fantastic achievement, and it's just one of many to emerge from COP26. 90% of the world's economy is now following our lead here in the UK by committing to net zero, ending their contribution to climate change altogether. Don't forget that when Alok took the reins of COP, it wasn't even a third who were committed to net zero. The developed world is finally going to hit the $100 billion climate finance target, if only a bit later than we would have liked. And over 130 countries have signed up to halt and reverse deforestation by 2030. And between them, those countries are home to more than 90% of the world's forests. We've got trillions of pounds of private sector assets lined up with climate goals. And we've even managed to do something that has eluded the world for 6 years by finalising the Paris rulebook, allowing us to move from interminable debates about how to measure emissions and instead get on with cutting them. Of course, my delight at this progress is tinged with disappointment. Those for whom climate change is already a matter of life and death, who can only stand by as their islands are submerged, their farmland turned to desert, their homes battered by storms, they demanded a high level of ambition for this summit. And while many of us were willing to go there, that wasn't true of everybody. And sadly, that's the nature of diplomacy. We can lobby, we can cajole, we can encourage, but we cannot force sovereign nations to do what they do not wish to do. It's ultimately their decision to make, and they must stand by it. But for all that, we can be immensely proud of what has been achieved by Alok Sharma and his team. I want to take this opportunity to thank him for his many months of tireless diplomacy and thank everyone involved in making COP26 a success, from the bobble-hatted volunteers to Peter Hill and his team in the COP unit. There he is. I know it's tempting to be cynical and to dismiss these types of summits as talking shops. But we came to COP with a call for real action on coal, cars, cash and trees, and real action is exactly what we've got. And just look at what it all means for our planet. Before Paris, the world was on course for a devastating 4 degrees warming by the end of this century. After Paris, remember, we were heading for 3 degrees. At Glasgow, we've turned that dial down to around 2 degrees increase. And of course, that's still far too high. But for all our disagreements, the world is undeniably heading in the right direction. Even the most pessimistic commentator will tell you that 1.5 degrees, that goal of restricting the growth in temperatures to 1.5 degrees, is still alive. Now the work continues to make that ambition a reality. ALOC is going to keep pushing, along with everybody else in the UK government, to strengthen the promises made in Glasgow and to make sure that they are delivered and not diluted. The UK government is going to get on with our own extraordinary record of decarbonisation, get on with delivering our green industrial revolution and exporting that revolution worldwide. There's still a long journey ahead of us and very little time to complete it. But COP26 has shown that we can do this. We can end our reliance on coal and fossil fuels. We can put the brakes on runaway climate change. And we can preserve our unique planet for generations to come. I want to finish by thanking once again the people of Glasgow for putting on a spectacular summit, and of course I want to thank Police Scotland as well for everything that they did.